have got an issue and a missing link.
Eddie saw this in the rundown too, Ross. You saw it's Collingwood's missing a piece. And what do you mean by this? Obviously, that's their goal kickers from the last 5
Yeah, well, I ran into Joffa coming in. I said, what do you need? He said, mate, we need a power forward that can take a big mark and kick a big goal prelim final day.
So can they not win a premiership without one?
No, you can do it. And they went close. But if we go back to their last grand final, Kennedy kept West Coast in the game. Darling's second half was superb. And at the end of the day, Collingwood, why did they get there? Because Mason Cox stood up in a prelim and just played through the roof. But as great Tony Jewell said, Premiership coach at Richmond, he's an if. If Cox turns up today, if he takes it, you need someone that you can bank. You can bank on Jeremy Cameron. You can bank on Rewalt. You can bank on Lynch. So, in my view, they need that power forward through the door.
You don't think he'll ever get there?
Well, he could. But do you think he's an if at the minute, or you can bank on him?
Well, he's not in this category.
Is he an if?
Yes, he is.
He's an if at the minute.
But what about these guys, Ross? These guys Collingwood targeted, they missed out on, Lynch and Patton.
And I think Patton's the one, the question mark. I think he's got some risk, but were they in the mix for that? Did they identify it? But I think if I'm there with their windows open, I've got Eddie over my right-hand shoulder, employed to go after Danaher and Cameron because they could be the difference between another cup coming through the door.
Big Ed. We don't want to see this bloke in the black and white on Anzac Day.
Who's that? Joe Danaher? No. I tell you what, Mason Cox might be a bit better than an if because he was iffy since the preliminary final because he had a detached retina in one eye and by the time we got in the next season he had two. So hopefully he is right and ready to go and might be able to step up. What's that?
Can he see it in a minute?
He can now.
Okay.
He's got it. He's watching right now.
So you categorically rule out having a look at Jeremy Cameron or Joe Danaher?
Oh, that's not my job, Caroline, and not my job here to be discussing the list management at Collingwood either. That's,
do you think you could do with a power forward?
I think everyone would. I fell in love with Peter McKenna. I love a power forward. So, no, of course we would. But we've got, without going into our lineup, because that's your job, not mine, but the Goey, fit and going.
Star.
Elliott, finally back up and going. Get Mason Cox back in there and going. We've got plenty of options there. And Cameron's coming to the club, so from Sydney, big guy, he can play. Brodie Grundy might be able to go forward as well. There's plenty of options for the Pies.
Ross, before we go to the break, was there one type of player in your St Kilda where you went close or Fremantle where you went close that you missed and you thought if we had that or...?
Yeah, well, I think 09, and Matthew Drone was very good, and he identified why we go after Brian Peake. On the outside, our speed, we weren't a very quick team, so we went the line breaker in Brett Peake. So he played a very good 2010. Yep. Did I say Brian?
Brian.
Yeah, I was actually...
His father was handy. So Brett Peake, the outside speed and run. That's why I love it as well going into 2010.